Tane and J-Man Show is here tonight. We have baseball, we got college hoops, we got some Lamar Jackson. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Tane and J-Man Show Nation. How you doing out there, Tana, man?
Doing good, J-Man. Did you realize yesterday, 4 years ago yesterday, was our first live podcast on the ISC Sports Network?
I saw that. I had a memory on Facebook pop up that it was four years ago. We've been on ISC longer than we're not on ISC.
Yeah, we've done three. This is episode 332. And, I wish I would have screenshot it because I don't remember what episode it was that aired for the first episode on the ISC Sports. I could probably figure it out by doing math in my head, but I'm off the clock. I don't need to do math right now.
I was going to say, Tanner and math usually doesn't end very well.
And I work for a bank.
At least you're not crunching numbers.
That's why I just tell them, give me something, I'll try to make it look good.
Oh, man. Is it sunny there?
No.
It is sunny here.
No, it was really nice yesterday, but today's more of that drizzly, overcast stuff that's been past week. Yesterday was beautiful. Yesterday was darn near 60 degrees.
That's nice. Yeah. Spring is here, which means baseball is here. We have the Masters coming up next week.
Next week. Right? Yep. Man. Yep. Wonder who you're going to pick.
I don't know. Well, we do have some new merch on our on the Tan and J-Man Show store.com.
Let me pull that up for everybody. I can do that here, I think.
I screwed up and was going to order and I'm taking Rory's shirt for the Masters, but it wasn't supposed to come in until April 10th. So.
Yeah, we don't have what am I looking for? Control of shipping or anything like that. So yeah, here's some designs and here's some new ones right here. There's the one J-Man's talking about. I'm taking Rory on the front, Tan and J-Man Show logo on the back. We also got some snapbacks. We got some trucker style hats, and we got some beanies. I know weather's almost done, but you can keep your head warm year round.
The bald men, as in J-Man, will wear a beanie quite a bit. You'll see me in the Tan and J-Man Show beanie all throughout the next winter. Hopefully, I won't need a beanie until next winter. But you never know in the Midwest.
I need to get myself one of those pint glasses. I've been meaning to get a Tan and J-Man Show pint glass, and I haven't done it. I got mugs, but
I want to say I have one.
And Book It. You can get a Book It t-shirt and hoodie, and we got all kinds of stuff on there. So, yeah. Tan and J-Man Show store.com. And you can use code March 23rd through 31st, which is Thursday. No, Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Got some birdie bogey for me tonight.
I do. Pretty simple one tonight. Simple as in not a complex question. I don't know if it's simple for the answer, but we'll see. It's the NBA question. I got a one-stroke lead coming into the night. Who was the last NBA scoring leader to not lead their team to the playoffs?
Last NBA scoring leader to not lead their team to the playoffs. Man, that's a real good question.
Because it might happen this year.
I was going to say, who is the scoring leader? Is it Luka?
It's Luka, and the Mavericks are struggling. They've
Kyrie Irving effect.
100%. They went from the 4th seed to right now they'd be in one of the play-in games. Mm-hmm. And Luka was originally going to be suspended for tonight's game against the Indiana Pacers after getting his 16th technical of the season, but the NBA revoked it today, so he can play tonight.
Yeah, Kyrie's made a habit of killing franchises here the past few years. Luka's kind of whiny, and I'm starting to not like him a little bit because he's picking up all these texts. He whines after every single call he doesn't get. It's getting a little pathetic.
Just needs to control his temper and control his emotions. Heck of a player, fun to watch. Just needs to control it a little bit.
Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House. Arlington Public House has upscale cuisine and cocktails with a casual atmosphere. Located 703 Main Street in Rochester, Indiana. They had delicious prime rib over the weekend. It looked like they served from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Man, that looks good. Love myself some prime rib.
They also had some seafood.
Southern seafood platter, 4-ounce beer battered catfish fillet, fried smelt, Is that smelt? Is that
Smelt, yeah.
grilled?
It's like a smaller fish, yeah.
I'm not a seafood guy, I must admit. Grilled shrimp, grilled frog legs, paired with dirty rice, collard greens, sweet cornbread, and buttery corn on the cob.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
It's pretty good to me.
They're pretty good. Pretty good.
I am going to try to keep our Facebook page up tonight in a tab because I apologize to everybody. I've noticed more and more every week people leave comments and questions, and Josh and I are not very good at actively checking it as the show goes on.
I never check
and
it.
Unfortunately, we don't have the ability on StreamYard here to pull the questions up on here with how the stream works. So, or I would do that. So,
what do you want to start with now? You want to talk some college hoops first and then get into baseball, or you want to do baseball first and then college hoops?
Let's talk college hoops first.
Let's do it. Final Four is set, and it is maybe the most unpredictable Final Four that we've ever had.
Yeah, nobody saw this coming. I mean, you got a 9 seed, you got what, 2 5s and a 4, or 2 4s and a 5.
2 5 and a 4.
I mean, you got 3 programs who have never made the Final Four before: Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, and Miami, Florida. Of course, you got UConn there. That's sleeping dynasty of our lifetime. Nobody ever talks about them, and they have 3 national titles.
Yeah,
in our lifetime, and they're got a good chance they might be playing for their 4th here come next a week from today. And they've smoked everybody. UConn smoked everybody in this tournament, which also, though, in my opinion, it feels like they're due to get beat. Yes. I know that sounds weird, but they're just smacking everybody. It's like, all right, when's their stinker coming then? But man, if this tournament has shown me anything, and tournaments of the past have shown this to me anyways, it's experienced guards win in March.
Yeah, guard play.
Experienced guard play. Not only just guard play, experienced guard play. Because even, like Nigel Pack's 21, older guys, that have been through the ringer.
And Texas's guards yesterday kind of let them down the stretch. Marcus Carr didn't play very well against Miami. Creighton's guards didn't play very well either. Nembhard wasn't great. That Baylor Shireman wasn't great for Creighton, and San Diego State ended up winning that one. So you need these guards to play well because, Creighton has a great big in Ryan Kalkbrenner, but the guards aren't playing well, they're not going to win, and that's proven to be the case. You look at the UConn years that they won within the last decade or so. They had Shabazz Napier went scorched earth for like a 10-game stretch. Kemba Walker that entire year went scorched earth. And you can have guards absolutely carry you, and that's why I think Miami might be the team to beat.
Well, even when they had Emeka Okafor, I think Ben Gordon was on that team.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. They had another big guy named Boone, but they had another guard, and Charlie Villanueva. But they were loaded. Now I'm talking about it. But they had another guard, too. I think that played in the NBA. I don't recall who it was off the top of my... AJ Price was young.
AJ Price, yep.
He was very young on that team, a former Pacer. But they beat a Georgia Tech team. That reminds me, for some reason, a lot of the San Diego State team.
Yeah. Tough,
I don't know why.
Physical. I remember Georgia Tech's big guy, Luke Schencher. I think
he was a bull for a little while. Jared Jack. They had Jared Jack.
Jared Jack was on that team, which and Will Bynum, too. Wasn't he on Georgia Tech?
They haven't done anything since.
No, they really haven't.
But it's just so many storylines. Florida Atlantic's a storyline within itself. 9 seed, making the Final Four. Fairly new school. They were founded in the 90s, but they become decent in football. Now all of a sudden they're really good in basketball. It's a school that's only lost 3 games in the regular season. Coached by a pretty young coach who seems unfazed. And, Florida has 5 or 6 Final Four appearances. But now Miami has 1, Florida Atlantic has 1, Florida State has 1, Jacksonville has 1, and the rest of the state of Florida doesn't have any. Stetson and UCF and USF. But it's just kind of crazy that the mecca of college basketball right now is in southern part of Florida. It's Miami, Florida, and Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, Florida Atlantic, this is only the second time they've ever made the NCAA tournament. They didn't even have a basketball program up until like 1989 or so.
Yep.
And I read an interesting story about Dusty May today. He signed the contract when he was hired before ever looking at the facilities at all. And he walked into the Florida Atlantic facilities and instantly broke down crying, thinking he committed career suicide because it was such like the facilities are awful. He's like, what in the world did I just do? He was so excited to be a head coach that he didn't even think about anything else, didn't even take a tour, none of that. And it's pretty cool 5 years later that he has them in the Final Four. And this was a basketball program that was just garbage up until he got there.
Yeah, and he's a guy that's been on record saying he loves the state of Florida. That's where he wants to live. So I don't think he's looking to job hop anytime soon, unless maybe Florida opens up or even Florida State.
Which,
Florida's
coach is brand new this year.
Yeah, he is.
Leonard Hamilton's in the 70s in the past 2 years.
He doesn't look like it, though. The guy's youngest looking 70-year-old I've ever seen, and he struggled this year. So that'll be interesting to follow because, of course, he's got connections to Indiana University, being a former manager there. And I know a lot of their fans are already thinking when Woody retires down in a couple of years, maybe he can be the replacement, which I still think if Michael Lewis is successful at Ball State, I still think that makes too much sense if they want to keep it in the family. But we'll see there. That's a conversation for another day. So you got that storyline. And it's interesting. Within the storyline, they were pretty lucky to beat Memphis in the first round.
Yes.
But sometimes that's what you got to do. Look at Butler in 2011. The 2010 team was really solid. But I go back to the 2011 Butler team. They should not have beat Pittsburgh in the second round. And that dude fouled 90 feet away from the basket. Then you got San Diego State, a team that's been pretty good years past. We saw Steve Fisher have some good teams, especially with Kawhi Leonard. Could never get over the hump. They're the first Mountain West team to ever make the Final Four. And the Mountain West has had some pretty good programs. So, that conference is pumped. You got Miami, Florida. Jim Larinaga making another appearance in the Final Four. First time was just Jordan Mason.
Yes, I think it was 17 years to the day that he beat UConn to go to the Final Four.
Now he gets another crack at UConn. So a little storyline with himself there, too. He's done it with an athletic squad that can really shoot the ball, fast guards, a lot of money that they shelled out with the NIL, but it obviously worked for him.
Yeah.
Football dominant school, but cool to see them have success in basketball. Then you got UConn, like I said, the dynasty that gets forgot about during our lifetime. But Hurley's done a heck of a job turning that around because Kevin Ollie, he won a championship, but then it went downhill from there for him fast.
Yeah, it's interesting. If they were to win, that'd be 3 titles in 12 years, all with different head coaches. Jim Calhoun, Kevin Ollie, and then Dan Hurley.
Yet they are overshadowed by the women's program.
Although the women's program missed the Elite Eight for the first time in 16 years this year. So maybe the men's kind of overtaken them a little bit.
Gino, I mean, and really, both women and men's basketball this year in the tournament, we've seen a lot of parity. And maybe the NIL's creating some parity, which I think, I'm one on this side. I thought it was going to be the opposite. I thought, okay, the rich get richer, so we'll see. We'll have to see next 4 or 5 years how it all plays out. Still too early to tell, but it's interesting to keep an eye on. It's interesting for programs like Purdue and Illinois, even how are they going to go about the NIL and the transfer portal this offseason compared to last offseason? So.
Yeah, I think Brad Underwood learned a lot after doing it last offseason. He got really good players in, but they did not mesh at all.
Right.
And so that's one thing he has to figure out. And they're going to hit it hard, too. Dane Dange announced he's coming back. Sounds like Jaden Epps is probably gone. Sincere Harris, don't know about him, but they're going to need at least 2 ball handlers coming in that transfer portal. So,
yep. Speaking of Underwood, he was rumored, way out there by Illinois Twitter.
Illinois fans did this
on Illinois Twitter. If you just Google or search his name on Twitter last week, you saw a lot of rumors pop up that Texas was interested in him. Well, that got shut down today because Texas hired their interim head coach. His name's escaping me right now.
Rodney
Terry. So, which I think is the right move, but It's an interesting move because they probably could have went after Coach Calipari from Kentucky or any big name really with the money they have down there. But I think it's the right move. We'll see how it pans out. It could be a lot like Mike Davis at IU went, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I actually compared it to Coach Ed Orgeron at LSU. He had that great interim run at USC and then kind of did the same thing at LSU. and he was hired. He ends up winning a national title. Of course, he had Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. I mean, maybe the most loaded offense in the history of college football. And then he gets fired, 2-3 years later. Rodney Terry was a head coach at Fresno State, and I think he coached Paul George at Fresno State. Now that I think about it.
Okay.
And UTEP, and it did not go well really at either stop. He was like 7 games over 500 total in his career before he obviously got the interim job once Chris Beard got the axe. But I think it's absolutely the right move to give him the job. I mean, he kept that team together when it could have gone haywire pretty quickly there in December for them. So credit him.
Yep. The other coaching news, I don't think we hit on this last Monday. I'm positive we didn't because I don't think it was announced yet. Micah Shrewsbury has left Penn State to become Notre Dame's head basketball coach after 2 years at Penn State, got him to the tournament, got him to the second round, which they gave Texas all they wanted for a while in that game. Do you think he made the right move?
Yeah. I mean, he went from football school to football school. I would think he has more resources at Notre Dame. He's from Indiana. He was a coach at IUSB in South Bend.
Grew up a Notre Dame football fan, I just found out.
Oh, that's interesting. So he probably just wanted to come home.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I'm sure Penn State kind of gave him a pretty good counter offer too. But the lure of coming back to his home state of Indiana, where he has a ton of recruiting ties for one, should help. But at the same time, he's going to have to jump through a lot more hoops to get kids into his program than he would at Penn State with the academic side of things at Notre Dame. But I think Notre Dame's obviously a better job than Penn State is on the surface. I think he's going to miss that Big Ten revenue coming in, though.
Yeah, he'll be fighting now with Matt Painter and Mike Woodson for recruits instead of guys inside the state of Pennsylvania, Jeff Capel and I don't know who else they would have fought for.
Villanova's guy.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't even counting Temple or Drexel or LaSalle or anybody like that. But, I think he made the right move. Notre Dame's a better basketball job historically than Penn State's. Probably get a little more leeway that, I don't know. Penn State, you could struggle for a while, too, and be safe. I don't know. Get a 7-year deal, so he's got time. We'll see how it goes for him, but it'll be interesting.
I, for one, am very happy he's out of the Big Ten.
I am, too.
He was Brad Underwood's kryptonite, for sure.
Yeah, Matt never lost to him, but they were still just a pain to play against. Now they're really going to struggle. Lundy jump pros not coming back. And,
Pickett's gone.
Yeah, a lot of guys are going to leave.
Yeah, that's actually one job that Dusty May has been mentioned. I don't know if he'd have any interest at all, but he's a guy that I think Penn State will take a look at and probably go hard after, I'd imagine.
It'll be interesting to see, if he really does like living in Florida like he says he does. He could stay at Florida Atlantic and build him into Gonzaga of the South.
Yeah.
He could. But the hard sell there is, how do you sell kids coming to play in front of like 2,000 people?
Yeah, it's I think I saw a 2,900 seat gym. That's not Gonzaga at all. That's going to be real difficult. Now, Boca Raton, Florida, probably easier to get kids to come to than Spokane, Washington.
A lot of money too, but will they throw it? Will the boosters throw money? Will they update? They're gonna have to upgrade their resources, like in facilities, like you said. His
one job's gonna have to be trying to keep kids there because his roster is super young, like a bunch of sophomores.
Yeah.
To maybe, hey, we get this taste of big time college basketball playing in the Final Four. Let's go try to play at a high major.
Yep. But it's just wild to me, like San Diego State or Florida Atlantic. One of those two is going to be playing for the national championship a week from tonight. Yeah,
this is the second wackiest Final Four ever as far as average seed goes. The average seed is 5.75. The wackiest is 2011, where the average seed was 6.5 when you had 4 seed Kentucky, 3 seed UConn, 11 seed VCU, and 8 seed Butler. And obviously the most normal, not I wouldn't even call normal, but the chalkiest is what John Gasaway called it, was the 2008 when all 4 number ones went.
Hopefully the national championship game next week's more entertaining than the 2011 one between Butler and UConn was. That was a boring one.
Yeah, it was a stinker.
It's interesting. Oh shoot! I lost my train of thought. Well, here I'll switch to this question. Did you have UConn in the Final Four?
I did. I will pull that up real quick. I want to say I even had them in the national title game, unless I switched it at the last minute. I want to say I at least had them in the Final Four, though, because, man, they were playing some really good basketball.
They were. I had VCU knocking them out, so I missed their.
And credit, actually, I had Texas winning the national title.
Hey, close.
So I had. Let's see, where's mine at? I had. Wait. This doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, I had Texas, UConn, Texas beating UConn, and then Texas win the national title, and I had Arizona over Duke. So
I had Creighton in the Final Four. Almost got that one right, but besides that, I wasn't close.
I did have Miami in my Elite Eight, though.
That's good. Good poll.
Yeah, no, I had Houston. I take it back. This is very confusing.
I had IU beaten. We both had IU beating Miami. I thought we both did.
I think we did. Yeah.
I know what I was going to say when I lost my train of thought. It's amazing to see these 5 seeds in the Final Four because you can argue that the 5 is the toughest seed to get through the gauntlet because you're going to play a 12, and usually that's a high upset, 12 over 5. If you win that, you're probably playing a 4. You win that, you're probably playing a 1. And then 2 or 3 probably.
That's exactly what Miami did. They had the most difficult. They had to play the best possible seed each time. They obviously the 12, but then they had to play the 4, then they had to play the 1, then they had to play the 2. So to get there, they had by far the most difficult road.
Sure.
Where FAU got to play a 16 seed.
Yep.
And then I don't even remember who they played in the Sweet 16.
Tennessee, who was a 4.
Yeah.
Yep. So. Yep, it's back-to-back years. The 8-9 matchup has made the final, at least the Final Four out of Purdue's bracket. So remember that next year if Purdue's not an 8-9 and they make the tournament. Just remember that for everybody that did terrible in their bracket like I did this year. So I'm definitely next year. I'm finally doing it for at least one bracket. I'm flipping a coin every game.
We did that one year.
We did. That's right.
2017 or
that's
18,
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it went as poorly as expected.
I was so bad this year. I got 2 of the 8 teams in Elite 8.
For the first time in probably 12 years, I didn't put like a money bracket, didn't do anything for money, and it has made my tourney watching experience so much better. So I'm gonna have to do this next year too.
I did 2 for money, but every one I did the same bracket. I didn't do multiples this year. I just did one bracket across the board, and it was shot really quick. So within 2 days, made it. I didn't have to worry about it anymore. So, any other NCAA tourney thoughts?
I say we pick the 2 games, and then I got a word association for you as well. San Diego State and Florida Atlantic for the national title.
I haven't watched a lot of San Diego State. I didn't watch any of either game yesterday. I was watching catching up a lot of shows on HBO Max and Netflix yesterday. Just lazy day doing that. It's been a great story with Florida Atlantic, but my gut tells me it's coming to an end, and the Aztecs are going to advance to the national championship.
Yeah, back in 2020, San Diego State started the year 26-0. They were one of the best teams in college basketball, and then of course everything was shut down. So good for them getting back. Give me San Diego State though. They're just tough, man. They have a bunch of grown men on that team, strong. Not going to score a ton of points, but where Florida Atlantic's bombs away from 3, so they're a scary matchup. But give me San Diego State. And what's the other one?
Miami and UConn. The one that, even though it was improbable for Miami to get there with their road, the one that makes a little more sense with brand. I will go with the Florida school in this one. Give me Miami. I think the way Wong's been playing and Pat can get going and their guards. UConn's got good guards, but they also got a really good big man, and maybe this is where their guards struggle a little bit. So give me Miami.
This will be the J-Man's book prediction of the week. The national title game will be San Diego State versus UConn. I struggled not picking my Canes here. But the way UConn's playing, I don't think they'll win by 20 plus like they have been doing. Because, I mean, Miami was down, 14, 16 in the second half?
I kind of wrote them off.
They were down 10 with about 7 minutes left and came back due to their guard play. And Jim Larinaga is a heck of a basketball coach, too. Give me UConn in that one, and I'll probably pick them again next week if, of course, they make it there.
Now, I am cheering for an all Florida.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be neat.
Yeah, all Miami. J-Man's Booker Prediction of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering. For life, home, auto, business, renters, workers' comp, and farm insurance, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watchering@infb.com.
You want to get educated?
I got word association.
Oh, okay, all right.
College Basketball Word Association. So
right.
I don't think we've done this list before, but I chose the National Coach of the Year from the past however many years, starting with last year, Ed Cooley.
Ed Cooley, new Georgetown coach now, which I get it. He's getting a lot of flack for leaving a school within the Big East and going to another school in the Big East, or Georgetown's actually getting a lot of criticism and scrutiny from people, but I get it. Georgetown's a better basketball school than Providence.
Significantly better job.
But been a good coach for several years, and I'm intrigued to see how he's got to do at Georgetown. He can't do any worse than the guys he's taken over for.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing is one of the worst hires ever. And the only reason why it's not looked at as the worst hire ever is because they had that miracle run in the 2021 Big East tournament.
Yeah. And John Thompson, the third or the second, I think he's the third. He did some good work there too. Got him to the Final Four beforehand. So,
my one lasting impression of John Thompson the third was losing to Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast. That's all I can. That's the only thing I can think about when I think of them.
Lost to VCU too. Yep.
Mark Few,
Mr. Steady.
Is he ever going to win the big one though?
I don't know. I mean, man, I thought, his team was a sleeper 3 seed, and they looked pretty solid for a while. I got past the UCLA. I'm like, all right, there was their test. Then they just got rocked against UConn. We'll see what his team looks like next year. He always recruits well. They can always grab some guys from the transfer portal because Gonzaga's going to dominate their conference. They're going to play in big non-conference tournaments and big non-conference matchups. They're always on national television. So, yeah, but time's ticking. Is he going to win the big one?
Yeah, this is probably the worst Gonzaga team they've had in probably 5, 6, 7 years.
Must be nice. First one to be a 3 seed.
Yeah,
make the Elite 8.
Drew Timme could come back if he wanted, but it sounds like he's not going
to. He's been there long enough.
Anthony Grant.
Wow, there's a name I forgot about. Was really good at VCU, and then went to Alabama. Did all right there. And is he with
Dayton?
Dayton now.
He won,
yes,
because Dayton was really good
with Toppin.
Yeah, Toppin.
And then because you kind of said, San Diego State, good to see them back. Doubt Dayton's going to have that magic again, like they did that year with literally the Flying Flyers. Yeah. I have not kept up with Dayton this year or last year, but he's been a pretty solid coach wherever he's went. Was definitely better at VCU than he was at Alabama.
Rick Barnes.
Another good one wherever he goes. I mean, he was at Texas forever. Now he's been doing good at Tennessee, but, Tennessee's a program that's never made the Final Four. Barnes has only made it once, and that was at Texas in 2003, led by TJ Ford. Time's ticking for him because he's not getting any younger.
Barnes doesn't get the type of criticism that other coaches get
he doesn't.
For not making any run ever.
Well, it's amazing when you get just one Final Four. A lot of critics off your back. Like, if Matt Painter's lucky enough to get over that hump and get to one, then the criticism is going to stop because
it stopped for Mark Few a little bit too, just getting there, and then he got to two national title games and he lost, but that did seem to extinguish some critics a little bit.
Yeah, because Barnes and Calipari have kind of taken some of the attention away from Painter the last week or so from the national critics.
Tony Bennett,
Mr. Defense. They're not going to play a fun style basketball. They're not going to score a lot of points, but he gets it done. But talk about a guy besides his tournament run in 2019, which they should have lost in the Elite 8, Final Four, and championship. It was kind of the team of destiny to pull all those games out and win it all. Struggles in the first round for whatever reason. but he's not going anywhere. He's still one of the best basketball coaches in the country. They'll be good year in, year out.
Jay Wright.
Good analyst. I think within 5 years we see him come back. I know he doesn't like the NIL, transfer portal, all that stuff. I think we see him back on the sidelines within 5 years at a big program.
Yeah, he's arguably the greatest coach of this generation, in my opinion.
Yep.
John Calipari.
Overrated. Great recruiter, but you can make an argument that Kentucky's a school that recruits itself. The brand recruits itself. Hasn't won enough with that talent.
Yeah.
His teams are constructed a lot like Matt Painter's teams. They do really well in the regular season with the post presence, and then they get in March and they struggle. But Calipari, man, he'll be their coach next year unless something wacky happens. But I guess he's pretty hot for next year. He needs to make him run in March. I really think so.
Yeah, I even remember when he was at Memphis, the talk was, man, this guy can really recruit, but is he that good of a basketball coach? He gets away with.
Should have won a national title if they made the free throws.
Should have, yeah. Greg Marshall.
Shady, but he had talent. Look at the guards this year. Two of them former Wichita State players making an impact in March. They always had good guards. They had some good NBA players. His best team though overachieved during the regular season and got knocked out by a 9-seeded Kentucky team that went all the way
draw.
And lost. Yeah, that was a tough 9-seed that lost to UConn in the national championship. But good coach, but not a good human being.
Yep. Jim Larinaga.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought we'd see him back in the Final Four. I thought he had that magical run with George Mason. He'll make Miami a tourney team, but they're never going to do a ton of damage. Finds a way to knock off Duke and Carolina more times than not. Yep. Won the ACC this year. Now gets to school the first Final Four ever. Duke and flat out coach.
Bill Self.
Does he play by the rules? Probably not, but he can coach basketball
now.
Yeah, he can coach. He can flat out coach basketball. Kansas is another school that's always got to recruit for itself with the brand, but all the dude does is win. That's all he did at Illinois, and Oral Roberts before then.
Yep. Steve Fisher.
San Diego State. Dude won a ton at Michigan, and then he won a ton at San Diego State. Just couldn't get him past the Sweet 16. Retired right when it was time for him to step away, really. But good ball coach.
Jim Boeheim.
One that just retired, ran the zone defense probably better than anybody.
Be interesting to see if they run some man-to-man now. I assume they will.
Yeah. It'll just be weird seeing Syracuse not have a Boeheim playing or on the sidelines. But probably top 20-ish coach of all time, probably. Borderline.
He won one title, went to a couple Final Fours.
Runner-up in 87.
He's going to be a top 15 sort of guy.
Yeah.
Jamie Dixon.
Doing a good job at TCU. Did a really good job at Pittsburgh back in the day. I remember when he left for TCU, I was just kind of scratching my head. But I think that's where he went to school. I think that's his alma mater, so it made sense. But I'm like, why are you going to a school that's definitely more of a football school? Because at the time, I could argue that Pittsburgh was more basketball school. It's definitely flipped back to more of a football school now. But guy can flat out coach. And at one time, he was one of the up-and-coming stars of the college basketball world, but he's definitely arrived.
Bruce Weber.
Bruce. He had to be heartbroken to see his Kansas State Wildcats a year removed get to the Elite Eight and lose. That's the 8th time I think they've lost in the Elite Eight since the 60s. And usually it's to a non-Power 5 school or Power 6, I should say.
They got knocked off by Loyola, didn't they?
They did.
In their Final Four run?
They did because K-State beat Kentucky because everybody thought, oh my gosh, Kentucky's just sleepwalk, and they couldn't get it done. And Bruce was a good coach. Just, he had the one shot to get it done at Illinois, couldn't do so. And besides that,
Brucey, love that man. It is kind of funny though. Bruce took a team to the Final Four without his players. They were Bill Self's players, and then Kansas State goes to the Final Four or almost gets to the Final Four, I should say, with Bruce Weber's players. Oh, Bruce can't catch a break. Last one here, Tubby Smith.
Tubby Stomp. Talk about a guy who went all over the place. Won a title with Kentucky in the 90s, with Tony Delk, Ron Mercer, some of those guys. Then he's there for a while. Then they wanted him out before they went in an awful direction. Hired Billy Gillespie. That was awful. But then he goes to Minnesota. wins a decent amount there, gets him to a couple tournaments. Then he went to, help me out here, where did he go after Texas Tech?
He went to Texas Tech, and then
High Point.
High Point,
where he went to school. So, and he even got them to attorneys. So, Hall of Famer, good basketball coach, but he wore out his welcome at every stop he went after a while.
Yeah, good basketball coach, but as you said, he had some good years in the middle, but it usually ended poorly.
I always remember his little 2-inch vertical after Blake Hoffbarber's shot to beat Indiana in the Big Ten tournament. He just, little hop.
He had that little tubby stomp.
Oh, yeah.
That he'd do on the side.
Oh, yeah. Good list. Yeah, we've never done that list. I like that. That was fun. And that is the Word Association segment, which is brought to you by, like it is every week, Proforma Print 2 Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print 2 Promo Group has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs, so you need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574-210-3815, or you can email her at barbara.vanweinsberg@proforma.com. Now do you want to get educated?
I do.
Right.
Need some education.
Don't we all? Sporting events on this day on March 27th. Let's see what we got here. A lot of Grand National stuff, a lot of ladies figure skating stuff. On this day in 1931, John McGraw says night baseball will not catch on. I think he was wrong.
Yep.
On this day in 1939, the first NCAA men's basketball championship was played. Who won the first title?
First title's gotta be LaSalle.
University of Oregon beat Ohio State 46-33. Ohio State forward Jimmy Hall was named Tournament Most Outstanding Player.
It's about the score of Butler UConn from 12 years ago.
On this day, 1945, who won the 7th NCAA men's basketball championship?
45, was that San Francisco?
Good guess. Oklahoma State beat New York University 49-44. Oklahoma State center Bob Curlin was tournament MVP. 1951, who won the 13th NCAA men's basketball championship?
No idea.
Kentucky beat Kansas. 68-58 was Wildcats' third title. 6-team team field was introduced that year. How about 1971? Who won the 33rd NCAA men's basketball championship?
UCLA for that one.
UCLA beat Villanova 68-62 as their 5th consecutive title. Villanova was later disqualified because of ineligible player Howard Porter. I did not know that. Who won in 1978, the 40th men's basketball?
78. That wasn't Michigan State, was it? That was 79. I don't know.
Kentucky beat Duke 94-88, Wildcats' 5th title. Jack Givens scored 41 points. On this day, 1991, the NCAA banned the University of Minnesota football team from postseason play in 1992.
They should do that this year, too.
I'd be all in favor. A lot of PGA Players Championship stuff. Here's an interesting one. On this day, 1998, Chicago Bulls Atlanta Hawks matchup at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta drew a crowd of 62,046 people, largest in any game in NBA history. The Bulls won 89-74.
I'm pretty sure that's been usurped, right?
I don't know. That's a lot of people. 62,046 for an NBA game?
Seems like they've played NBA. Isn't the Alamo Dome?
Alamo Dome?
It's not, because that's where the Spurs play.
No. I don't think that. I want to say that hasn't been passed. I mean, maybe it has, but I don't know. I mean, usually NBA arenas hold 20,000 or so, not 62,000. So, and that's going to do it for the On This Day segment on this day in history for March 27th. And it's brought to you by, like it is every week, Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of North Carolina with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs to fit your needs, and their pieces are a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. You can see some of their recently completed projects by visiting at Mooney Woodcrafts on Instagram and Twitter. And if you let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you, you get 15% off your order. Those signs also make a great addition to baby rooms, which I want to give a congratulations to Mooney Woodcrafts, Thad and Samantha Mooney for welcoming their second child last week,
Absolutely.
Everett to the world. So Thad's hoping he turns into an offensive lineman.
Hopefully he's a better golfer than his dad was.
Just keep it in the fairway, Everett. Don't get your dad's slice.
Terrible time management by us. We should have gone baseball first and then NCAA tournament, but
should have.
That's what we do.
It's what we do. Well, let's get into baseball. If we have any time left, we'll hit on Lamar. If not, we can talk about Lamar next week because I'm sure the saga will still be going on next week.
Oh, I'm sure. I just have 1 through 5 in each division, starting with the AL East. Who do you have winning it?
Well, just a second. I didn't know if we were starting with AL or NL, so got to get a hat on here.
Oh, so then you're going to pull out a Rockies hat after I predict them to finish 5th.
AL East, I'm going to be wrong with all my AL predictions like I am every year, but I have the New York Yankees winning the division title.
So do I. Judge Rizzo are back. Carlos Rodon, they signed him. Anthony Volpe, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, it is Volpe. Yep.
The Volpe, 21-year-old, one of the top prospects in baseball, shortstop.
From New Jersey.
Yeah, coming out of spring training. You're seeing that more and more.
Yankee fans, since he was little, it was actually cool how they did it. Cashman and Boone let him set up I think it was just a phone on the table, and it sounded like he was going to be told he was going to be sent down to AAA, and then they swerved him and said, welcome to the big leagues. So pretty cool. Pretty cool for the kid.
I have the Blue Jays finishing 2nd.
I do as well.
Yeah, they should be able to hit. They signed Brandon Belt. He'll be probably DH first base, and Kevin Kiermaier to help solidify their defense in the outfield. Vladdy Jr. still there. Bo Bichette, good pitching staff. Could see them winning the division as well. So it's a really, really good division there.
They're a sleeper to win it all, in my opinion.
I have the Tampa Bay Rays finishing 3rd.
I do too.
They'll pitch and play great defense, as they always do. They'll never make any sort of big moves, but they're always just solid. I have the Orioles finishing 4th.
I have the Red Sox. I hope you're right, though.
I honestly really wanted to put the Orioles 3rd. Adley Rutschman, budding superstar there. Gunnar Henderson could be the rookie of the year. I've
seen him projected by a lot of people. Baby birds.
Probably third base. So really good farm system. So I think they're good enough to finish ahead of the Rays too. I don't know if they'll catch the Blue Jays or Yankees, but a team on its way up. It's been a few years.
They had a solid stretch there last year. That kind of caught everybody's eye.
Yeah, almost made the playoffs. I want to say. Then I have the Red Sox finishing dead last. You have the Orioles.
I hope you're right though.
Yeah, Red Sox lost Bogarts, J.D. Martinez. They did sign Justin Turner, Corey Kluber.
They're in a weird spot right now.
Yeah, that's an ownership group that no longer wants to spend, and their GM, I don't even remember his name, is getting some terrible threats. Not threats, but the Red Sox fans do not like him. That starting rotation is one of the worst in baseball. I think the Red Sox will lose 90 or more games. That's just my prediction.
I hope you're right.
American League Central, who you got winning it?
I got the Twinkies, the Minnesota Twins.
I also have the Minnesota Twins. After all of the Carlos Correa drama as he signed with the Giants, he signed with the Mets, he signed back with the Minnesota Twins. I also traded for Pablo Lopez from the Miami Marlins, really good starting pitcher. So they should be pretty dang solid. I have the White Sox finishing 2nd.
I have the Guardians.
I flip-flopped. I had the Guardians 2nd, and then I looked at the White Sox roster. I'm like, man, if they can stay healthy, they're probably better than the Guardians. They did lose Jose Abreu, who's kind of been their glue for a decade.
Where did he go?
Houston.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, they did sign Andrew Benintendi, Mike Clevenger, who's a terrible human and should be suspended probably for the entire year for what he did. Their team depends on health. I mean, you can say that for every team, but White Sox were so injured last year. It depends on Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, their health in order for their offense to be halfway decent. They should be a pretty good team.
And Dylan Cease should be a Cy Young contender.
Yeah. And they still have – they need Lucas Giolito to bounce back as well.
New manager this year.
And, yeah, I think Tony kind of held them back a little bit last year too.
Well, sure. And last year they had big expectations. That's why I was just kind of being a jerk in my bold prediction saying they weren't going to make the postseason, and then they proved me right. So,
yeah, they should be pretty good. Then I have the Guardians finishing 3rd. Of
the White Sox. Yeah.
Guardians signed Josh Bell. Much like the Tampa Bay Rays, they'll pitch and play great defense.
And anytime you have Tony Francona, you're going to be right there.
Yeah. And honestly, in the Central, I think the top 3 teams are interchangeable.
Yeah.
You can just, I mean, I could see the Guardians win it and the Twins finish in third. I think the bottom 2 teams are pretty set in stone. Royals, I have them finishing fourth.
I have the Tigers fourth. Last year, the Tigers were my sleeper, like dark horse of my predictions,
too.
And it was just awful. They were not good.
The Royals and Tigers are interchangeable as well. Royals are a young team led by Bobby Witt Jr. They signed Aroldis Chapman. That was their big move, if you can even call that a big move. They should be better. Good farm system. Tigers have more talent than the Royals, but after what happened last year, Al Avila, their general manager, was just terrible. They do have some young talent. Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson, young pitching staff. So I could see them getting better as the year goes on and passing the Royals. But as of right now, I have a hard time putting the Tigers anywhere but dead last. American League West, I have the Astros winning it.
I do too, unfortunately. I'm so sick of writing that down every year.
Yep. Wanted to put the Mariners there really badly, but I couldn't do it. Signed Jose Abreu, as I said. Although Jose Altuve will be out for the first month or two with a broken thumb. They also lost Justin Verlander, but it's the Astros. Next man up. They're going to be good regardless.
Yeah, annoying.
I have the Mariners finishing second.
I do too.
Traded for Colton Long and AJ Pollock, I believe. Good pitching staff, good young roster that just got better. I don't know if they'll be able to compete for an AL West Central or an AL West crown because the Astros will probably win 105 games again, but really good baseball team. LA Angels have them finishing third.
Yep.
They signed Hunter Renfroe, Brandon Drury. I'm really rooting for them, especially after the World Baseball Classic, because
they got 2 of the most exciting players in baseball, and they're just letting them just rot.
Yep. Well, they're wasting 2 of the greatest talents in the history of baseball. Shohei is unbelievable. Trout getting older, but he's still unbelievable. Yep. I just want him to get in because it'll be fun to watch.
I think everybody does.
I have the Rangers finishing fourth.
I did too.
They signed Jacob deGrom, Nate Eovaldi, Andrew Haney. They love to spend money. Now they need to
always have.
Together. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Oakland A's will struggle to win 45 games this year. They really need to move.
Yeah, then that's Oakland's only team anymore. So
yeah. I mean, San Francisco's right there. Just move.
I mean, and you can count, Golden State, but they're technically in San Francisco now. So.
Yeah. Just move to Vegas,
Yep.
Where they want to be.
Yep.
So my playoff teams in the American League, I have the Yankees,
Yep.
Blue Jays,
Yep.
Twins,
Yep.
Astros,
Yep.
Mariners.
I have the Guardians.
Angels and White Sox. Those are mine. My 7.
I have the Guardians, Rays. Actually, I only did 6. I'm putting the Mariners in there. I forgot.
There you go.
I had 6 for some reason. There we go.
And my American League MVP is Shohei Ohtani.
So is mine. I had Aaron Judge earlier in the day, and I changed my mind because I also have Shohei win the Cy Young. I know it's not going to happen, but I just have he takes over the sport this year.
Yeah. I have former Cincinnati Red Luis Castillo winning the Cy Young for the Seattle Mariners because he was great after he was traded there. And then my AL Rookie of the Year is Gunnar Henderson. When I was doing this,
I didn't do one. So
these predictions, Volpe had not made the team yet, and I didn't want to change it. So
that's a good pick. I mean, if you have a good year for a bad team, especially a Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. NL East.
NL East. Where my NL picks at? I got the Braves. I can tell you that much, winning it.
I do as well. Trade for Sean Murphy. Great young roster. And this will be a bold prediction. Ronald Acuna Jr. will win the MVP. It seems like I've picked him past 3 years, but this will be the year. Spencer Strider is absolutely filthy for the Atlanta Braves.
That's my Cy Young. So
Me too. Yeah, Spencer Strider is my Cy Young.
Almost won Rookie of the Year last year. Runner up. So.
Yep. I have the Phillies finishing second.
I do too, even though their injuries are already a concern.
Yeah. They did sign Trey Turner and Taijuan Walker, but they'll be without Bryce Harper until about midseason because he had Tommy John, and then first baseman Reese Hoskins tore his ACL last week, so he's out for the year. But they're the defending National League champs. I ended up losing to Houston in the World Series, obviously, but I mean it was a good roster that got better. So, and then I have the New York Metropolitans finishing third.
I do too.
That pitching staff is absurd though with Scherzer, Verlander, Kodai Senga. They did lose Jacob deGrom, and they missed out on Correa. should be a playoff team, but you never know with the Mets.
I mean, look, they already lost their stud reliever to just a fluke down to World Baseball Classic. Verlander took 2 line drives off the calf the other day.
Yep.
They're going to give Frank Fleming a heart attack. So,
Frank.
He's something. He's not happy unless he's negative.
You know, I really hope Darren Ruff does not make that roster. His heart might.
I hope he does make it because it's worth the content right there. And that poor guy's on the Devils this week. He's mad at the Devils. So
he's mad at the Dolphins. He's mad at the Mets. Mad at the Devils. Is he an NBA fan at all?
Nets.
Is he a Nets fan?
Oh yeah. So great. That was fun with the Kyrie stuff. I don't know how the guy hadn't fell over yet. So.
Yeah. I have the Miami Marlins finishing 4th.
I do as well. Yeah.
They should pitch really well. I mean, they have the defending Cy Young Award winner in Sandy Alcantara. Offense is offensively bad. It's awful, just terrible. Then I have the Nationals finishing 5th. So they'll be one of the worst teams in baseball this year. Especially
they got their World Series a couple years ago.
Yeah, they're coasting now. National League Central.
I got the Cardinals.
I also have the Cardinals. Signed Wilson Contreras, who is now public enemy number 1.
He's not going to get a nice ovation when
Chicago.
He comes back.
Jordan Walker, much like Anthony Volpe, had an unbelievable spring, 20 years old. He made the St. Louis Cardinals roster out of spring, and he is potential Rookie of the Year. They have one of the best rosters in Major League Baseball, and I absolutely hate it. Second, who you got finishing second?
I got the Brew Crew.
I have the Chicago Cubs.
I knew that was coming.
I put them in my playoffs as my bold prediction, even though I didn't really believe it. But the closer we're getting to the season, I don't know if it's just early season optimism, but I like what I've seen so far from this roster. They'll be better and could surprise people, but man, if Cody Bellinger can return to 50% of what he was, he's the absolute wild card. If he's 50% of what he was, they have a chance to be pretty dang good. They should pitch really well, play great defense. Their middle of the diamond defense is probably the best in Major League Baseball with Horner and Swanson and then Bellinger in center. Offense is a concern, though. They don't have much power in the lineup, and the one guy who has consistently good power is a bad hitter in Patrick Wisdom. Seiya Suzuki will probably be out the first week or 2 with the oblique strain. He is starting to hit in the cage, and it sounds like he's getting some simulated work in. Should get into games, probably an extended spring training over the weekend. So hopefully he'll be back within a week to 10 days. Hayden Wesneski, who they actually traded for when they traded Scott Efros to the New York Yankees, potential Rookie of the Year. He was great when he came up, had a fantastic spring, won the 5th starter's job. And so I think they have a chance to be better. And we'll see how I feel in 3 weeks.
Do you think Ross has to make the playoffs to save his job, or do you think he just has to winning record and be competitive?
I don't even know if he needs a winning record. I just think they need to show a little bit of progress, which progress would be a winning record. But, I honestly don't know. If they don't make the playoffs, maybe Jed Hoyer's gone, and which means a new guy will come in and probably fire Ross anyway. So I have the Brewers finishing 3rd.
I have the Cubs 3rd.
They'll pitch well, but that offense has been bad for a few years now. Yelich is probably the reason why their offense has been bad, because he has not been. Ever since he fouled that ball off his kneecap and fractured his kneecap, he just hasn't been the same guy.
It's true.
I have the Pirates finishing 4th.
I do as well.
They're semi-interesting for the first time in a while now with young talent like O'Neal Cruz in the big leagues. Better pitching, still have Brian Reynolds. I need more from Brian Hayes, but they'll be better. I don't think they'll be great by any stretch of the imagination, but they'll be better. And then we both have the Reds finishing 5th, right where they belong. They're bad, but they have 2 really good young pitchers in Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo. A great farm system as well. Things are looking up for the Cincinnati Reg Leagues, but
Ken Griffey Jr. is their 4th highest paid guy on their roster this year. He's 53 years old. He's been retired for a decade.
100 pounds overweight. Yeah.
He still hit the ball, though.
He can't. That was really cool watching him hit BP, and Team USA is just like looking like little kids. Of course, they were little kids when he was doing his
swing speed just a little slower than it used to be, but
just a little slower bat speed. NL West, who do you have winning it?
I have the Padres.
Me too. I have the San Diego Padres. Xander Bogaerts entering that lineup. They have the best lineup in Major League Baseball, bar none. Good pitching staff as well, and I think they're the best team in all of baseball, if I were to guess. The Dodgers finished in second.
Me too.
Still a good roster. Could obviously flip-flop with San Diego. But they did lose Trey Turner to free agency, and then their projected starting shortstop, Gavin Lux, tore his ACL early in spring.
A lot of torn ACLs.
Yeah, which is weird for baseball. You don't see that as much. So shortstop could be a concern. They'll pitch well, though. They'll be fine. I have the Diamondbacks finishing third.
I have the Giants.
Diamondbacks, good young talent coming through the system. Corbin Carroll, Alec Thomas in the outfield.
I don't know if I can name you a Diamondback.
Madison Bumgarner's still there.
Oh, there we go.
As well as is he? Not now that I say that. I don't know if he, as well as catcher Gabriel.
Why did I think he was a Ranger now for some reason?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll look it up.
They got him in a trade for Toronto. Pitching is a concern for the Diamondbacks. As I think I saw Bumgarner on.
Yeah, he's still on the Diamondbacks. He's still on Diamondbacks.
I have the Giants finishing fourth.
I have the Diamondbacks fourth.
Giants, they thought they signed Aaron Judge, and then they thought they signed Carlos Correa. They did sign Michael Conforto, but they lost Carlos Rodon and Brandon Belt. They're probably not going to be that great. They haven't been that good in a while. So, except I guess 2 years ago they did win 108 games. What am I talking about? But, and then we both have the Rockies finishing fifth.
They're going to be awful.
They're bad.
They win about 55 games.
Horrendous pitching staff. Lineup is bad. And they'll struggle scoring runs in Coors Field, which is hard to do.
The Monforts need to sell a team, but they're not going to. They like to because people will show up because it's a fun ballpark to do. It's a beautiful ballpark, fun thing to do in Denver. They'll line their pockets. They don't care. They're those owners that don't care. It is what it is. Well, I shouldn't say always because the few times they've made the playoffs, the city's got invested, but it seems like they are fourth fiddle in the
for sure
in the city, especially when the Nuggets are good,
which they are.
I mean, the Broncos will always be number one in Denver. They can go 0-17, they'll be number one.
The Avs just came off Stanley Cup.
Yeah, now they're playing good again, and they'll be in the playoffs here in a few weeks. So,
in my National League playoffs, I have the Braves, Phillies, Mets, Cardinals, Cubs, Padres, Dodgers.
Those are pretty close to mine. I have Braves, Cardinals, Padres, Brewers, Dodgers, Giants, and Cubs.
Giants in there, huh?
I threw the Cubs over the Mets. I just don't want to put the Mets in playoffs. I don't like them.
My NL MVP, as I hinted at earlier, Ronald Acuna Jr. finally gets her done. And then we both have Spencer Strider.
I have Juan Soto because I have
it's a really good pick.
Padres doing really well this year.
Yeah. My NL Rookie of the Year is Hayden Wesneski. Just put him on there because I think he's going to have a good year for the Cubs. Who's your World Series winner?
I have the Padres over the Twins.
Oh, that was real close to mine. I have the Padres over the Mariners.
I think everybody thought I'd pick the Yankees because I always do. I'm not doing it this year.
Maybe that's
what it needs to needs to get number 28 there. So Padres. This Padres team on paper. And I mean, everybody forgets Tatis is probably gonna comeback player of the year.
Yeah. I saw he's playing right field now, and he's just throwing rockets from right field. He'll have the bats, obviously.
He'll want to make a statement. So
for sure. Especially, I mean, he had the steroid thing, and then and I want teams and owners that go out and spend as much money as possible to have success.
Yeah,
because there are owners that do not care. They're going to get the revenue sharing, and they're just not going to spend it. They're just going to pocket it, and those are the owners that need to be taken out.
Those are the owners that don't care about their fan base.
Yep.
The ones who spend their hard-earned money to watch the product.
Hit me with that Birdie Bogey.
Yes. Who is the last NBA scoring leader to fail to lead their team to the playoffs? I don't know if I worded that quite correctly, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Last guy to win a scoring title but not make the playoffs.
Yes, correct.
I don't know, but I want to say Kobe Bryant.
You want to say Kobe being Bryant, and you are now 2 strokes behind, my friend. That is a bogey. Any more guesses?
Within the last 15 years that it happened?
Mm-hmm.
Last 15 years. James Harden?
Nope.
LeBron James?
Nope. That's who I guessed.
I have no idea.
Steph Curry.
I would not even, for as good as Steph is, I would never even thought he would have won a scoring title for some reason.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. the Tan and J-Man show. We'll talk some national championship. We'll talk some Masters next week. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and we'll be back at her.